Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to do a short presentation on why we must all become digital citizens. When we are finished with this today, I will send this out as a Google slide to everyone so you can access all the resources that I talk about. So here we have it listed, the two different very fancy ways of explaining digital citizenship, but the easiest way to say it is it's the responsible use of technology for any age. So, two reasons we need to teach digital citizenship. Um, Number one is compliance. There's this Children's Internet and Protection Act, and this basically tells us that we have to start informing students and teaching them how to use the internet safely. And the E-rate is a program that discounts schools and districts for actually doing that and showing students how to be internet safe. There's requirements to get E-rate funding. You have to have a filtered internet through your school. So that means that um, whatever the school sets up as their filter, it has to be constantly working really well to filter out obscene pictures or internet websites that are not kid friendly, anything with not good language, or just any basic content that kids shouldn't be subject to. That is what the filter is doing. And then in order to be CIPA compliance, yet you have to have a way of teaching students that internet safety within the school year. And there's a little more information there about the act in 2008. That's what it started giving incentives for teaching digital literacy in the classroom. Kind of get money to offset the cost of router switches, cables, and there's a whole lot more that you can do with that funding for teaching kids about the right ways to be on the internet. There's two reasons, right? So this is the second reason. Most importantly, it's the responsible thing to do. We live in a digital world, and it's important for us to teach our kids how to navigate that world. So there's lots of different ways, and in the future slides, I will show you different ways to do that, and I also have provided lots of resources. But the main thing is it's responsible. And if we can teach kids the correct way to be, then they're going to create that digital footprint that they need. And we need to have them a positive digital footprint because they're going to be contributing to society after they leave us and after they leave our buildings. And they need to also be contributing an online citizen. And they're also going to have people looking at them to hire them in their future. So if they don't understand the importance of being a good internet citizen, then they could possibly create a digital footprint for themselves that is not one that employers want to see. And if you're still not convinced, there's 5 more reasons to teach digital citizenship. Number 1, there's a lot of information out there. So how can we get them the information that they need, and how can they filter through all that to know what they need? Cyberbullying, which is a really big issue. So see, 16% of kids are victims of it. So in our buildings, there's kids who are victims of it every day. So how can we teach them to use the internet in a better way to avoid that for themselves? How can they be safe on the internet? Digital responsibility. Okay, it's in a nutshell, it's them. It's their responsibility to do the right thing. But if they don't know what that is, it's our responsibility to teach them that. And then obviously their health and emotional wellness in a digital world. There's really good resources here. If you click on either one of those links, that will take you to find out some more information if you want. So here's from one website, tips for teaching digital citizenship. It's in today's classroom, it is just as important that students understand what kinds of behaviors are acceptable online and help them become smart, responsible, respectful online users. So Joseph says to think of the acronym READY: remind, encourage, accountability, demonstrate, and be a culture of yes. And I really like that, be a culture of yes. Sometimes we just think, oh, we're going to block these all out, all of these apps and these programs to kind of just because it's easier to keep them safe if we don't let them have access to it. But if there's ever an opportunity that lends us to be able to use something, one of those platforms, in a positive way, then we should use that in order to teach kids the correct way to use it. So when they're getting older, they're not just they know the right way to use it. Because if we kind of shelter them from it forever, they might not know how to use those resources. So any opportunity we have to let them kind of explore in a safe educational way, and one where we are very we're watching them and we're making sure they're doing the right thing, we should take those opportunities when we can. Okay, here's another slide, tips for teaching digital citizenship. Adding this to a child's education requires integration from the very beginning. And you will learn later that we start requiring kids to watch our digital safety video in preschool and kindergarten. So this resource reminds you to define, create, and execute. Okay, and if you're interested in what taking those further and kind of understanding how you can create a digital citizenship curriculum for your classroom, then this is a great article to go read. Okay, so for us as a district, it's important for you guys to know that during the first week or two of school, we need you to show the media literacy and digital safety for students. It's going to be in your public works website, and that is a compliance video. But it's important you know that, so when you show that compliance video, you wait until you're in your classroom, because that particular one needs to be shown in the classroom. If you stop and talk about every slide, it could take a good 25-30 minutes. If you just kind of go through it quickly, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, but it's a really good kid friendly video to help your students. And then as a staff, this is new this year, it's called Know Before, and they're going to be pushing out emails to you all the time. And when you get those emails, it's important that you go through the training. They're very quick training videos that are good for us on the adult side of learning our digital citizenship and literacy, and how to watch out for spam emails and different things like that. So that is our training on the adult side. And then just so you know, teachers or parents have to sign an acceptable use policy. The student and the parent are both supposed to sign it. So if they do, great, but I have a feeling that a lot of times the parents probably don't tell the kids what they're signing. They just say, hey, sign this, you need to sign this. And the child might not fully understand what it is they're signing. So I ask that at the beginning of the school year, you just remind the students, hey, this is our policy. These are the things that you are expected to do, and these are your requirements, just so they know it. It's never a bad thing to go over it again. And a copy of that can be found in the office if you need it. Below, I just listed some other resources in case you want to learn a little bit more about it and take some time to add more instruction into your classroom or into your projects. The Kind Kingdom game by Google was kind of fun to play. I went through it for a little while. I think some kids might enjoy that. So if you take some time to look at that if you want. Okay. The beginning of that video is kind of how I would do it if I was teaching it like in the library at my school. So that's kind of why I did it in that way. My idea would be to give them a Google, give them access to the slide so they can click all the links and that, and then just present it quickly in person. And that way everyone's getting the same information at the same time. So this assignment ties back into our standard because it promotes the current and future success of students by helping them understand and practice how to become good citizens. Being responsible internet users should be the goal of each educator and student. So that's why this presentation is important, and why, however it's presented, whether it's through a video or through an in-person training, That's why this important. It's important for every educator to hear. The assignment was relevant because it's something I can use in my future position as a teacher, leader, or a principal. Um, it's important for us to teach necessary content to staff and students. And we live in a highly digital world, so it's time to start making digital citizenship instruction a daily practice. And I'm always one who wants to know the why behind a requirement. So through the assignment, I learned a lot about why we need to teach it, but not also why we need, but why we have to. I mean, I knew our school required us to show this video at the beginning of every year, but I didn't know there were legal requirements to do so. And we start teaching digital literacy at a young age with our required video, but now I know more resources I can use to teach it throughout the year, and I can encourage my fellow teaching partners or my staff to do the same. And here are my resources that I used. Thanks.